We got a Gingrich clip, and I rather enjoyed. He's speaking at AEI, that's the neocon think tank, which I know is a bit of a oxymoron. And, well, you want to speak about oxymorons. Let's watch Newt.
You have to recognize that victory over radical Islamism is a long process. This will be a long struggle. This doesn't fit our model of a spasm war of 2 or 3 or 4 years. Really pay attention, get it over with. That's why I use the Cold War as one of the analogies. It took 44 years. Most of it was nonviolent, but very tense and with enormous preparation. I think that in a sense, President Bush came very close to defining this twice. First was in the Axis of Evil speech, January 29, 2002 in the State of the Union, where essentially I believe he was right, but in fact could not operationalize what he said. That is, there was an axis of evil: Iran, Iraq, North Korea. Well, we're 1 out of 3. And people ought to think about that. If Bush was right in January of 2002, and by the way, virtually the entire Congress gave him a standing ovation when he said it, then why is it that the other 2 parts of the axis of evil are still busily, cheerfully making nuclear weapons? And it's because we stood at the brink, looked over and thought, too big a problem. Now, if Harry Truman had done that, the world today would be communist. If Franklin Roosevelt had done that in 41, either the Japanese or the Germans would have won. If Lincoln had done that, we would have become 2 and then multiple countries. I mean, there are moments in history when you have to stand up and say, okay, tell me the size of the problem, I'll go get a solution of same size. I will overmatch the problem. That's what Americans are all about. We overmatch problems with energy, creativity, and drive.
All right, there's so much that I love in that. First, axis of evil. It was absurd then, it's absurd now. Really? Iran, Iraq, and North Korea are in cahoots? Do you know that Iran and Iraq fought a massive war against one another? Let alone North Korea. Look, are those 3 countries a problem? They were, in a lot of ways they still are, right? Are they an axis? That's just made up, okay? And then look at what he's saying. He's like, 1 down, 2 to go. Bush couldn't operationalize it, but wouldn't it be great if we attacked those countries too? No, Newt, it wouldn't be great. It would be disastrous. That's why we haven't attacked them. He's saying, what, you scared of a little problem? Yeah, sure, it'd create problems. But, who needs Seoul, South Korea? Remember, North Korea has an enormous number of weapons pointed at South Korea. Forget what they could do to us. They could pulverize South Korea. Would we win eventually? Of course we would. At the cost of how many hundreds of thousands of innocent civilian lives in South Korea, let alone North Korea, let alone the United States? What's the big deal? Come on, we're 1 for 3. By the way, are we 1 for 3? Right now, it appears that the Shiite government has lost, Maliki's government has lost the election, that a new government has not been formed in 4 months, and now there are death squads going around Iran killing the Sunnis because the Shiites want to get back in power. And the guy who had as the marginal lead in that election actually brought Sunnis and Shiites together. That's good, but he's the one whose side is getting killed. So was that a great victory? Do you feel great about how Iraq went? You want another Iraq, except much larger in Iran? You want another Iraq, but in North Korea where they already have the nukes? And by the way, where'd they get the nukes? Or I should say, when? Oh, that's right, under George W. Bush. Nicely done, Newt and your buddies. Okay, and then finally, I just love the historical references. He's like, if Harry Truman had done that, right now, we'd be communists. Yeah, if Harry Truman hadn't dropped 2 nukes on civilian populations, and you can argue about whether he should have or he shouldn't have, but if he hadn't dropped them, we'd be communists? Come on, Newt. It's absurd. And for a second there when he's like, and without Lincoln, we'd have been 2 countries. And all the conservatives in the room paused and they're like, a South by itself. Delicious. Oh, right, wrong. Lincoln was wrong. Lincoln was right. And then finally, what's the point of all this? He said, we're America. We overmatched the problem. What does that mean? More defense spending. Yeah, we got a problem, but let's overmatch it by getting all these nuclear submarines and aircraft carriers that we don't need at all. But we overmatched the problem. We're America. These neocons, man, they're never going to give up.